Hi, I'm Christopher Stewart. Now, let's work a little bit more with another character sketch. And we'll stick to characters in Game of Thrones. Sometimes when you do characters that are intrinsically similar in general business, you can actually create different characters from different angles, which are actually quite interesting. Let's take a look at the character of Lord Peter Balish. Now, Peter Balish, where does he fall within the realm of slime and sophistication? He's a very slimy character. He's a very slimy man. He has a very slimy job. He's even referred to as slime by everybody around him. Everyone talks to him as if he were slime. Everyone tells him he's slime. Okay? Which, the interesting thing about when you're creating a character on the realm of slime and sophistication, if everyone's going to tell you you're slime, then you have to not act slimy quite so much because you don't want to prove them right. Okay? Which is quite interesting. He is an aristocrat, primarily because he wants to be. He's never been an aristocrat, but he wants to fit in. He wants to be the person that everybody wants. So that's where he fits in the realm of slime and sophistication. As a character, he's slimy, but because everyone tells him he's slimy, he wants to reject the slime. And he wants to be very sophisticated. Now, I talked in the last thing about how you can create a caste accent. Sometimes you want to work against the caste accent to create an individual character, which is somewhat believable because the world is the world. Not everyone is from the same place. You have a character like Peter Balish who came from nothing. In Game of Thrones, everybody came from nothing. But, that's okay. He came from nothing, he became something. Which means his accent doesn't have to fit in with the King's Landing accents. Okay? So in that sense, you can take him more along the lines of a French accent. Now, some of the best ways to develop an accent in a foreign language is to speak in a foreign language and then come out of speaking in the foreign language, speak in English, and then have anyone from that country correct you there as to whether or not your syllables are precise or not. And then you work in absolute, which is a very neat thing you can do. Okay? It creates a very realistic, a very believable accent because it's the way they sound anyway. Okay? If you talk to someone in France, they're going to look at you and say something like "Merci beaucoup." They're not going to talk to you in English necessarily, although English is a second language there. Because of that, you have to start thinking more along the lines of how does the language itself, when it changes to English, affect their accent. So when you start speaking in a foreign language, it tricks your mind into start thinking the same way they do. And you create a similar form of accent. And then you just get fine-tuning as, is this a Paris accent? Is this just a general French accent? And you create a very interesting character. Now you have somebody like Lord Peter Balish. We have to look at some of his lines. Some of his lines are very difficult because they're very simple or they're very long. Okay, he's a very difficult character because he's either in short sentences or he's in long speeches. There's not a lot of middle ground there, which makes it very difficult in general. You also have to look on kind of a few other meters. You can put him through different ideas. Is he insane? Is he not insane? How over the top is he? You can even come up with the fact that he's a money-grubbing thief, but he isn't really. He's out for information. He's a spy, but he's not really. He wants to be the ruler of the world. He wants to be Brain from Pinky and the Brain. But he's not that intelligent. He thinks he is, but he's not really that intelligent. He's been playing the game so long that he's begun to believe his own lies. Which is the other thing. Maybe he's an alcoholic, maybe he isn't. It's a little bit questionable in that sense. And because of that, you can take in some of the baselines of alcoholism, that people believe their own lies, that they always think they're doing what they think they're doing. Their game is a little bit too high up, but it's not really. It's kind of falling apart underneath them, but they don't see it. Which creates a very interesting character for Peter Balish. So what you have is something along the lines of Starks. Short tempers, slow minds. But, you know, you need more than that for him. You don't necessarily want to go into his long speech of the chaos is a ladder thing, because that's a specific metered speech. So you want to veer away from that, because you'll eventually get it anyway. You're developing the character first, so you want to look at the smaller parts of the character, not the greater parts. Once you have the smaller parts fine-tuned, then the long speeches, the simple points, the walking around, the being Peter Balish is easy. You have this person looking at that person, watching this person, and they're informing you. You're wanting to play people. You want to play both ends against the middle. You want people to understand each other and fight against each other. When I'm trying to understand someone's motives, I play a little game. I ask, what's the worst that could ever happen? And then I ask myself, does that fit their actions? Does the actions fit the reality of what's going on? So, what's the worst that could be? And why? That's a simple little set. It's kind of basic. We need a little more to it. It's kind of flimsy. It needs substance. Didn't I tell you not to trust me? Everybody in King's Landing is a liar. And they're all better than you. Everybody lies. The question is, why do they lie? Sometimes if you look at other lines from other characters, you can form your character a little bit better. You can make him more believable. He's still a little bit light, a little bit flimsy. One of the hardest things for me about Peter is Peter Balish has to be relaxed, overconfident. So, let's see. Came upon a little bit of information for you regarding a certain John Aaron. Right, well, there it is. And sometimes if you ad-lib a little bit, it just helps you more understand the character. So you need to kind of step away from the basic script, which is easy for me because I don't have it memorized that well. So let me think. If I'm looking at a couple of whores and I'm wondering exactly, will I be worth it? Are you good merchandise? Right. There's only one woman I ever loved. Cat. Yes, I got into a duel with the wrong person. Terrible. I'd have to work on him quite a bit, but that's a simple version of the character. Now you have to understand the most important thing about acting. A good actor, a really good actor, can pick up a script, any script, and pick any character in the script, whether they like the character or not, whether it's male or female, and perform it as if they were the understudy, and perform it perfectly every time. Thank you.